Okay, 25. Tenant obligation upon the vacating the premises. Upon the termination of the agreement, tenant shall give landlord all copies, all keys. You don't leave any copies. Tenant is not supposed to leave any copy. So suppose, doesn't matter how many keys you make a copy, you gotta have to return. Well, certainly that's a pretty much on their system. If they want to hire any keys, what can I say? Yeah. So suppose give landlord all copies, all key, and any opening device to premises, including any common area. 2. Vacate the surrender premises to landlord empty of all persons and personal property belonging to tenant. So you cannot leave the trash or anything trash is still belong to tenant. When I deliver to you, it's vacant. For the empty unit, you gotta have to return it to the empty unit. Vacate and or parking and or storage space, same thing. 4. Clean and deliver premises specified in paragraph C below to the landlord in the same condition as reference of paragraph 10. So what it's telling you later on, you will cover that right to the move out check, move out inspection or repair. So that means when I deliver the unit, condition, whatever the condition to you, you're supposed to return the same condition. So that means, okay, if the carpet is dirty, well, you have to clean, steam clean, unless you live in more than 5 years. Painting, same thing last time I mentioned, depending on how long you stay. And number 5, remove all debris. Number 6, give written notice to the landlord of a tenant forwarding address. Well, did you want your deposit or not? If you want your deposit, then give me your forwarding address. It's not, remember, anything on number 7. I know some of a tenants say, when I give you the key, I want my security deposit back. No. Well, certainly a lot of Asian, they would ask that. Well, that's an Asian way. No, I'm sorry, it's American way. Then I won't give you the keys. That's fine. Then I won't give you the security deposit. Which one cost more? I can replace a cylinder, costs $100. And how much are your security deposit? Go ahead, keep my keys. If you don't return the keys or remote back to me, you don't get your security deposit back, period. Within 3 weeks, not right away. Why? When you do the move out inspection, it will miss something until they totally vacate the premises and you test everything within 3 weeks. Then you return the check back to them. And if they continue to argue, where's that? Where's that clause? 3 weeks clause. Where? We covered that. Where's it? Huh? No, it's like, on the contract, what I'm saying, on the lease agreement. Where's that 3 weeks showing? Security deposit. "21 days after tenant vacate the premises." Okay? So when is that supposed counting that 21 days starting from? Okay? The tenant have to agree to reinstate it, the total security deposit within 5 days after written notice delivered to the tenant. Within 21 days after tenant vacate the premises, landlord shall furnish the tenant as itemized statement indicate amount any security deposit received and basis on the disposition supporting document as requirement. That means whatever the money you spend, okay, you gotta have to keep the receipt and give the copy to the tenant. Then too bad. You don't want to charge tenant, that's fine. It's your choice. It's up to you, landlord. No. No invoice. How do you charge it? Cleaning fee? You're gonna have to show them an invoice. Where's the invoice? So you gotta have the Why they call it supporting documents? You want to deduct your security deposit, you gotta have a supporting document. What's that? Receipts. Okay. So anybody want to argue? 21 day. But I mean, you gotta start counting the key. When you receive the key, then what's the date starting? You don't return the key, the date will not starting. The day one on the security deposit. Okay? Not just vacate the premises though. But if somebody, they're really arguing, oh, I don't give any reports and key and everything. Okay, fine. If you don't give it to me, yeah, as long as you vacate the premises, okay, then I can at least, I clean it up, everything. Sometime if somebody say, if I don't return the key, if you don't give me the deposit, fine, I got a spare key, I can get in. I'll do whatever you want. Then you return the key to me later. It's okay. That I can probably tolerate that, but at least you're gonna have to vacate the premises. So that's the issue. Because if they vacate, then I can clean it up. Okay. You want it, wait until you return the key and remote back to me so you get the check. Fine. Then you gotta wait for me for 3 weeks. But technically, you gotta have to return the key, start counting in 21 days. But some of the Chinese, what I heard, good thing I didn't, knock on the wood, I didn't really make those tenant. That's what I heard from our coworker. No matter what, they want to return the key, cash for key. I said, what the heck? Well, tenant, what's that? What they asked for? You don't give me the check, I don't give you the key and remote. Are you going to argue with the tenant? So sometimes it's tough. That's why it's very important. We gotta have a spare key to enter. I say, you really want to do that? Suppose you gotta have to return all the key before I counting that 21 day. But if you really want to do that, okay, then we can do outside of a lease agreement. You keep the key and remotes. I gotta have to thoroughly check in. 3 weeks later. Then I'll give you if everything's okay, and I will deduct it, whatever, need to clean, need to touch up, okay? That's why those 3 weeks, because those 3 weeks will give you enough time to refurnish everything, okay? Then you have an invoice and how much you deduct. Yeah, so that's why you cannot deduct it right away, because landlord haven't get a chance to clean it up, to do the touch-up. How do I know cost how much? Unless, the tenant allow you to do the estimate earlier, which is tough. Okay? So that's why you explain to the tenant, why I don't give you the check right away. I have to get everything done. When you vacate all the premises, then I can hire the people, clean it up, thoroughly clean it up. You don't remove the stuff, I cannot clean it up. Because if you say, oh, I lost a gold, a diamond, how do I know? Where do you hide it? Okay, so make sure it's vacate the premises, you do the move out checklist, but don't give the key yet. Don't give a security deposit yet, because you have to do the estimate for all the cleaning, okay, and touch up. That's how somebody want to argue with that and say, well, I'm sorry. That 21 day, they have to give the landlord a chance to clean it up, everything. Then we can give you the invoice to deduct from your security deposit. I know they might be pissed, but that's the way it is. That's the first page. That's the first page of a lease. That's a 21 days, a security deposit. Deduct the deposit without invoice. Well, tenant can challenge Landlord to small claim court. How do you? Because tenant say, how do I know you spend those money? Or show me the check. Who you pay? Oh, I pay cash. Too bad. You have no evidence. So you're gonna have to show me. That's why on a 21 day after the with return the security deposit, landlord gotta have the supporting document. These agreements say that. So it's actually no confusing, no argument. That's between tenant and landlord. You gotta have an invoice. So don't hire somebody doesn't have the license and cannot issue invoice. Okay. All alteration, improvement made by or cost to be made by the tenant or with or without landlord consent become the property of landlord upon termination. Landlord may charge tenant for restoration to the premises to the condition it was in prior to any alteration improvement. So if any alteration or any improvement without the landlord's consent, then landlord can terminate the lease. Because when they do the inspection, they say, periodically they do the inspection during the lease period. They say, what happened? You remove this or you install this without my notice or any written consent, not just verbally telling them. Being a tenant, you tell them and say, whatever you want to do, anything, put it in writing. At least you email or text, make sure a landlord receive it. If you're so lazy to send them a letter for the written consent, but at least you send them an email and you say you gotta got something showing say receive, thank you. You gotta tell landlord, say, you call landlord, say, did you ever receive my email? Yes, but can you reply? I need the evidence from you. So that way there's no confusing, at the end, when they return the unit, say, what happened? What happened to my unit or house? C, right to pre-move out inspection and repair after giving and receiving notice of a termination of tenancy before the expiration of this agreement. Tenant has a right to request that an inspection of the premises take place prior to termination of a lease or rental. Those are, for example, if early termination, you still need to do the move out inspection. Okay? Or sometime, some of the tenant, they are really, really, I would say, lunatic, because they say, I want to move out 1 month earlier. Well, then you still need to pay the rent. Why? What's the lease agreement say? When is your termination day? Did they really care? Sometimes they don't care. And you know what they happen? Because they just, fine, just go ahead. I just won't pay. So being a landlord, because that month, it's really hard to sue tenant. Only 1 month left. If you sue them, you still need to return the security deposit, or you take the security deposit, but without the damage collateral if it's really got a lot of damage. So you gotta have to, if that's the case, you inspect the property. But you know what tenants think? When you inspect the property, that means that's what they thought about it. Oh, so you allow me to move out 1 month sooner? No, it's because you're moving out. Considering early termination. But it's, how do I sue you for 1 month's rent? It's not worth it, okay? And if I can take your security deposit, that's why usually I just tell the landlord, fine, just took the security deposit. You tell them and say, you paying without a payment, and make sure you took their security deposit plus the late charge. That's the supposed total charge. And still send them the invoice. And you itemize everything. Why I cannot return you the security deposit if the security deposit is only 1 month. Then legally, it's definitely not enough. So you tell them and say, this is a negative. You owe me. You don't expecting the tenant will pay you, okay? But you still give them a letter written letter. You owe me how much? So if they really after you later on, this is evidence. I did send it to you. Okay. All right. So with the check, or without the certainly without the check, then you just still send me a letter. Okay. Negative balance. This is you owe me. Yeah. Only if you go to an apartment, they definitely will after that. Okay. It's they don't care. Apartment, they have the attorney team. Boy, they will give you the court order right away and screw you up on your credit. I mean, did you know the landlord, if you lay on the payment and or without paying the payment, do you know landlord has a right to go to on your credit bureau and tell them you are late on the payment? Landlord do have the right to do that. You know that? I don't know if it's free, but I mean, you have a right to report it to the credit bureau. Screw tenants up. You don't pay the rent. That's how you tell tenant. You don't want to do the 1 month early termination? Fine. Without paying the rent? Okay. Then I'll call credit bureau because I do have a right. You know, sometimes you might have to scare tenant. But tenant say, go right ahead. If you dare, I'll sue you. If you dare to ding my credit, I'll sue you, landlord. So that's why they got a lot of lawsuit between tenant and landlord. Now you know why, right? If you manage, you are the agent. They sue you too, and the brokerage, and the management company. That's why I don't want to manage whatever. Hey, it's between you and landlord, okay? Not me. I don't want to get involved. Even, you know, when I lease the property for our co-worker, I said, James, it's supposed to be your job. No, my job is done. When I sign a lease, my job legally is done. I'm not managing. You are, not me. Okay? But you're going to have to, you know, engage, you know, to the tenant, say, I can helping you. But legally, it's none of my business. Even we are co-worker. You tell me to lease a property to you. You don't want to face tenant, I know. But you're the landlord. My job is done, technically. I could help you. As a co-worker, I can help you. But in legal ground, I can't. All I can do is tell the tenant engage, call me for any question. But if the tenant doesn't call me, why should I volunteer to call the tenant? You know, oh, I gotta charge you this, I gotta charge you. Why didn't you pay the last month payment? I'm sorry, it's none of my business. Yeah. That's why, you know, regular tenant is okay. You lease a property to a co-worker, you got a headache. If a co-worker, oh, James, you know, can you help me to get, you know, if a tenant has a violation, can you help me to talk to tenant? Come on. You know, I didn't get paid to talk to tenant. When the tenant has a violation, suppose your issue. But for some reason, tenant didn't find it because tenant has a tenant's agent. And the tenant's agent already abandoned their client. And landlord is a principal, also our co-worker. Then what do I do? Fine, I'll help you. I'll talk to tenant. Here's a violation. Let's see how we can improve that. Boy, I gotta have to be the bad guy. Especially with those people, you know, when they open the door with the, you know, without the shirt, with the tattoo. Hey, brother, hey, let me help you. I mean, if you talk to the, usually as an Asian, oh, okay, well, hey. Right? Okay. So that's how I deal with the tenant. I say, boy, You look strong, right? So if you actually you treat them with the respect, actually they do listen. Then what happened? Every time a violation, I gotta have to talk because tenant listen to me doesn't listen to landlord. What should I do? It's not really my job. Yeah. So that's why a lot of agent doesn't want to deal with the lease. You don't get paid enough to deal with a lot of things. But you certainly learn a lot. That's for sure. I learned a lot to do how to treat the different people. Definitely. C, right to pre-move out checklist. We'll continue on that. If the tenant requests such an inspection, tenant should give it an opportunity to remedy, identify definition prior to termination, consent with the term of this agreement. 2, any repair alteration made to the premises as a result of this inspection, correctly, repair shall be made at tenant's expense. If you do the alteration, okay, then if you want to restore, sometimes it's hard to restore the original, but it's still going to be the tenant's expense. Repair may be performed by tenant or through others who have adequate insurance license and approved by landlord. If the tenant want to hire somebody, okay, for restoration, you got to make sure you have an insurance license and it has to be approved by landlord for those repairmen, those contractors. The work should comply with applicable law. So sometimes you need a permit if you want to reverse or restoration. Include government permit, inspection approval requirement. Repair shall be performed in a good, skillful manner with the material of quality and appearance comparable to existing material. It is understand that, bless you, that exact restoration of appearance of the cosmetic item follow all repair and not be possible. Why? For example, if you did, okay, say you have a house in San Marino. Oh boy, nice house, but you put it on the market for lease. And that the wood, everything is all pretty much antique. Hey, tenant, they want to do any modification, alteration. Usually I would suggest landlord, no, 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 and oh no. Why? Because if you do something and you replace it, there's no way you can restore back to original. Because those are antique, okay? You cannot restore back to original no matter what. So if you really do have a house and want to lease, I know the payment could be as high as $5,000, $6,000, or even higher for the San Marino house, as a rental. Then tell the tenant, do not even think about do any alteration. Otherwise, don't lease it. 3, tenant shall A, obtain receipt of repair performed by others. B, prepare a written statement indication of a repair performed by tenant and the date and such repair. C, provide copy of receipt of statement of a landlord prior to terminate. Paragraph 25. C, does not apply when the tenancy terminated pursuing the California Civil Code, okay, on the procedure. 26. Breach of contract. So early termination is really considered, it's a breach of contract. Otherwise, why we sign the lease for? Some people want to move out early as they wish. Why we sign the lease? Okay? That's how, it's actually binding with the landlord and tenant. In addition to any obligation established by the paragraph 25, in the event of a termination of a tenant prior to completion of original term and agreement. So if you do the pre-move out checklist, if you want to do the early termination, and landlord have to do the pre-move out checklist, and also binding with this, then what the tenant need to do? Tenant shall also responsible for lost rent. What do you mean lost rent? Well, you move out, right? You're gonna have to continue to pay the rent. So that's considered lost rent. Rental commission, our commission, because we have to relist it on the property, right? Advertisement expense, if you do have any advertisement. And also painting costs. Well, when they do the early termination, are you going to do the cleaning again, touch it again? Yeah, all on tenant expense. To get ready premises to re-rental, landlord may withhold any such amount from tenant security deposit. So tenant security deposit cannot return until we find the next tenant. And the current tenant, you got to continue to pay the rent until we found the next tenant. So on paragraph 26, I tell you, every lease you highlight it and mention to the tenant. Okay? You got to have to do that. And don't tell me if like somebody said, oh, I don't understand. I highlight it, explain it over to you very thoroughly. Why? Because if you did that before they sign, they move in, sign a lease. Remember I told you that my experience before, within 1 year, that particular unit, I replaced 3 tenants. Huh. So every time they move out, first tenant move out, they pay me. After a half year later, 3 months or half year, second tenant, oh, I got a job relocation. I have to go back to China. Fine. You got to continue to pay and my commission until I find the next tenant. Oh, yes, I understand. Yes. And all the cleaning fee, everything, you just send me the bill. I will pay everything. No hassle. Why? Because when I sign it, I explain it thoroughly. So within 1 year, I make 3 commission on that particular unit. And all 3 of them, I double end them. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, pretty decent commission. Yeah. And no hassle because I thoroughly explain it when they sign a lease. Okay. So don't skip this because a lot of a landlord will, doesn't know, and so you're gonna have to explain the tenant. But tenant, if maybe the tenant say, how about I find my friend or somebody to continue the lease? Okay, I can accept that. Show me the application. Show me everything, the lease package. As long as the landlord agree, then basically I don't get paid. If the landlord say okay, it's fine to me. But usually, believe me, most likely it's really hard to find approval one right away. Okay, so probably only once or twice, out of my career, probably over 1,000 transactions on the lease. Very, very rare they can find a tenant and substitute the original one. Just like student, they could try to find another student to substitute, right? Okay, yeah, portion. So unfortunately, I don't get paid. So basically, the lease agreement is protect on both sides. But sometimes, like that situation, you kind of work around the lease agreement because they didn't pay me, but they still continue, pay the rent, find the next tenant, so for the lost rent. And they don't really care much, for the painting cost or whatever the premises. So you kind of work around it. But I mean, legally, when you breach a contract, that's the way it is. 27, temporary relocation. Subject to local law, tenant agree upon demand. Oh, by the way, just tell you, if anything you work around the lease agreement, better off to issue a tenant. So landlord agree, and so the tenant agree. Okay, if they want to find a substitute, and then you may have to let them re-signing the lease agreement, and also the addendum, and say, well, this is actually substitute the original, whatever, the tenant. So make sure they understand security deposit, because if the student, they maybe return portion of it, or somebody, the new tenant pay the security deposit to the moving out student. Okay, so but to landlord, the security deposit is still the same. So you're gonna have to rewrite the lease agreement. Otherwise, how do you return the security deposit later on? Okay. And it's really tough. It's like you legally suppose it's for example, if a 4-student lease a property, 4-bedroom one, and they turn in the move-in checklist, 4 of them. But legally, when you return the security deposit, it should be put all 4 students on one check. So when you actually return the deposit, you're gonna have to write it all attempted, kind of separate all the security deposit back to them. So that's why I don't like to lease to the student. It's too much hassle. I make the same amount of money. Because dormitory is cost more than if they go out to lease a property, or if they lease a apartment alone, something. Yeah. Temporary relocation. Subject to the local law, tenant agreed to upon demanding of the landlord and temporary vacate premises for a reasonable period to allow a fumigation. That's like the termite. You're gonna have to cover it up. Okay, fumigation. Or other method to control would destroy pests and organism, and other repair to premises. Tenant agreed to comply with all instructions and required necessarily to prepare premises to accommodate pest control, fumigation, or other work, including bagging, storage, the food, medicine, remove all perish and valuable. Tenant should only be, this is really, really important. You need to highlight it because a lot of landlord doesn't know. Tenant should only be entitled to a credit of rent equal to the per diem rent. What do you mean the per diem rent? What's mean per diem? That's a legal term in the real estate. You're gonna have to understand this word. Per diem. What's a per diem? We don't use this word anywhere but real estate and legal term. Per diem is per day. Per diem is actually, if you really want to translate it, it's per day, the cost per day. But that's a terminology of law. You gotta have to understand the vocabulary, per diem. So the per diem rent for the period of time tenant is required to vacate premises. So if we talk about per diem rent, and how do we calculate per diem, per day rent? Always use 30 days. Because a lot of landlord, when they, anything happen or say plumbing leaking, so that they have to do the remodeling, send the tenant away. And they forgot this. Tenant going on a hotel for $100 a day, $150 a day. And landlord just try to please them and, just continue to pay. Sometimes whole months. Come on. Your rent, it could be only $60 a day, $70 a day. You pay them what, $150 a day? And plus a meal. No way. But if the tenant say, oh, you only pay me this per diem rent of a period of time, I see. If it's 3 days, usually they're okay. But if you're taking a whole month, then the landlord say, well, I can only pay you this, or the whole month's rent. No way, it's not enough. I gotta have to eat. I gotta blah, blah, blah. Okay, how about that? That's we continue. Then we fall into the next paragraph, 28. How about we terminate the lease agreement? You move out, then I do the repair. Both, then that's it. I'll let you move out. Now, I cannot find that the property so soon. Well, then either you accept my offer for how many days you need to move out, okay? Or I can only pay you this much. Well, that's fall into it because if the more than a month, they consider it's like damage of a premises, okay? If by no fault of tenant, premises are totally, partially damaged, destroyed by fire, earthquake, accident, or other cause that render premises totally, partially uninhabitable. Either landlord or tenant may terminate this agreement by giving the other written notice. Rent shall be abated at the date premises become totally and partially uninhabitable. The abated amount shall be incurred monthly rent prorated on a 30-day period. Still 30 days period. So that's why this 26, 27, 28, okay, is really important for especially tenant and landlord. If the agree is not terminated, landlord should promptly repair the damage, and rent shall be reduced based on the extended or which of the damage interference of the tenant's reasonable use of a premises. For example, what do you mean reasonable use of premises? Oh, I gotta have to fix this bedroom. Oh, okay. Then I may have to deduct a portion since you cannot use this bedroom. That's a portion, not whole house. So you reduce. Or otherwise, feel free to move out. So I do the repair later, and then I try to find another tenant. If it's so severe, most likely, plumbing issue is more the problem with that is because sometimes you gotta have to report an insurance company. It doesn't take that soon, to fix everything. It could be at least 3 weeks to a month or longer. Then you cannot afford it to keep the tenant continue to pay. So if that's the case, I would say let the tenant go. When it happened like that, and you look at pretty severe, because the leaking also damaged the wood floor, for example, immediately let the tenant go. Don't even think about it. Well, not just the mold issue maybe, or anything may happen. Just let him go. They say, hey, look, it's going to be take a long time. Why don't you start looking for another property? But I have no place to stay. Oh, okay. Here's some money. I only give you 1 week or 2 weeks max. Go ahead, find the rental. Okay. So you can pay them in advance. They say, let me give you the 2 weeks spending money prorated for 30 days, 15 days. I'll give you 15 days. If you move out, or you can stay in your friend's house, or hotel, motel, whatever you prefer. But this is how much. Okay. Then just move. I mean, you can keep your stuff here. I won't do anything. I won't touch it. And go ahead, find the property right away. And in the meantime, you stay in a hotel because, for example, if the plumbing is leaking, you're gonna have to shut the main valve. There's no way you take a shower or on that. So, if you are really generous, maybe you give them some spending money for a meal. That's about it. And remember, you gotta have to return your security deposit too. Okay, because this you cannot really cost them and say, oh, I gotta do the touch up, you gotta have to do the cleaning and cover. No. Just give them everything. Okay, just give it everything. I don't know why they call me twice. Let me see, who is this? It's not the advertisement. Hello, James. Hey, yes. You want to see the warehouse right now? Can I stop by? Sorry, you don't understand. Appointment only. And I can hear that. It's an Asian with the accent. They just don't read.现在有经纪要带人去看你的仓库，在通知吗？好。No, this is sublease, share the area. Why not? I have money I can make some money. Why not? I don't turn around. I don't turn against the money. They gotta have to pay me the whole term. So those are, they don't really respect, what they mean appointment only. You gotta have to let me know ahead of time. Listing 整个的也是一样哦。Depends， 像这个有 agent 找我 ，I'm the listing agent， 这是 tenants， 但是看我们是一个warehouse partial warehouse sublease。
Sublease 是不是要经过
？Yeah, legally, yes. You gotta have a landlord's consent. But some of the landlords, I don't really care much. Go ahead, sublease whatever you want, since they're gonna master lease as long as you pay the rent. But some of the landlord, they are pretty stingy. You cannot make the money out of it. If you make more money, it's mine. You sublease higher than you pay me, it's mine. Okay, simple. So, no. Sublease, we got a sublease agreement. On commercial, you have a this is a lease agreement. Commercial, we have sublease agreement, short term or long term, two different kinds. Yeah. Call it again. Hello? Yes.
他是租什么样的？没有全部都购买。投了1个月了，多久？才前几年。而且没那么厉害，谁的怀孕不能吵。这个去干的时候我要说，这样不敢说话。就交给那么少钱，
Okay. I already text the network. I don't know. You can ask the front desk. I don't know. You should let me know earlier, not just calling me right away. Okay. So I mean, if you want, you can take a look. Not sure if they will let you in if the owner is not there. So that's why I haven't get a chance to talk to the business owner yet, because you just call me and I just text them. Yeah. Okay. Okay. You can just look at it outside. You can just yeah. Okay, you got it. Okay. Thank you. Bye. See, that's because a typical agent. I want to see it now, just like I stand outside the property. Can you show me? What do you mean? Can I show you right now? How do I fly over? Sometimes I say, how can I fly over? You tell me show right now. Even I'm just around the area. I say, boy, I'm in Orange County. You want to wait for me an hour? Why don't you call me sooner? Oh, because my client doesn't want to see it because the warehouse too old. Okay, fine. But when you don't have a place to lease, do you want to see it or not? It's up to you, right? Take or leave it. That's why it's landlord's market. Okay. So we continue. Oh, then, I don't think. Okay, last statement. If the damage occurs as a result of an act of a tenant and tenant's guest, only the landlord should have the right to termination, and no reduction of the rent shall be made. So that means if the damage occurred by the tenant, okay, not by natural cause, like earthquake, fire, or roof collapse. Okay, those guys, it's not considered a structure, and it's damaged by a tenant. Say, because tenant, I know. Put it this way. For example, like the Roman Heights, they're running on the baby factory business, and some of the house they rented as the master kitchen. They cook almost 24 hours a day, constantly cooking, and they burn the house. Is that considered caused by tenant? Yeah. Okay. Then they got no security deposit or anything, and the landlord has the right to terminate you out. Why? Because you're running as the master kitchen. This is not running for business. It's a residential area. You are not supposed to running the baby factory. So landlord has a right to terminate it. You don't running a business in residential area. Okay, so that's the issue. Those consider, if they burn the house, yeah, it damaged. But usually the landlord, as long as they collect the money, you don't damage my house. They just kind of ignore it. Especially the Chinese landlord. If you pay them more higher than the normal rent, okay. But they didn't know the consequences when the police come over. And somebody sue them, or the IRS come over. Why the IRS they come over to seal manufacturing? What is related to them? Because they don't report tax, income tax. You're making money, did you? Right? Yeah. So that's how that happened. Yes. Not in a residential area. That's why I follow the pregnant woman if in my community. And I know they are not belong to this community. By what? Unfortunately, their dress. Okay? It's not so proper. They dress their sleeping wear and go out and walk. Come on. And it's really ruined the whole community. Then I will follow. Not only that, our co-worker, we follow them. But sometimes it took us about an hour before we found out who they live in. Then we reported to the city at police department. Police department. Local, yeah. And city hall. Yes. So it's basically, as I tell them, I don't want those people to stay in my community. Because they're running the business without paying anything, paying the money. For example, some people will report it if you're running, food. Actually they're making dumpling in the garage, or barbershop, hair salon in garage. Is that legal? No. Just like, can you running the business, running as the acupuncture or, at home, massage area? No. Legally, no. Unless you got business license or you reported the city. Okay? If, for example, the only thing we can use it home as a home office because I didn't really go out. People doesn't really come in. right? Every time I going out, nobody coming in. So when those business and people visiting, okay, that actually causes the issue. You need a permit to run the business, like retail store. People coming in, right? Like if you talk about, as a real estate agent, some of them they're using as home office because we going out, not tenant coming in, then you're okay. Yeah. And we just, because we're using as a home office, or sometimes even architect, if they're running on the business, they need they have to report it, the city. They're running the, as a home office. So sometimes it just, if somebody want to using residential home as running the business as an agent, I was telling them, you check with the city at this location or this community or this group. Can you running a business on your business? Okay, not my issue. We're just the agent. Then I report it. If they are repair the auto as their antique, that's okay. You have a time, say between 8 o'clock to maybe 5 o'clock, you can make a noise, but it's not very, very loud noise. But if you running the repair shop and repair for someone else, you're running a business. You 29, insurance. See, that's also a cost that if you're running the business, how the insurance is going to cover, right? A tenant guest inviting a licensee personal property and vehicles not insured by a landlord. You got to make sure that's like, well, I do carry the fire insurance, but it's not going to be covering your stuff. Any of your personal belongings, not your vehicle. No. So that's why you got to have to manage, or if the applicable HOA against loss and damage due to the fire, theft, vandalism, rain, water, criminal, and negligent act, and the others, and any other cost. Tenant is advised to carry tenant's own insurance, renter insurance, to protect tenant from any such loss or damage. B, tenant shall comply with any requirement imposed on tenant by landlord insurer to avoid 1, an increase in the landlord insurance premium, and tenant should pay for the increase in premium. 2, loss of insurance. Tenant should obtain the liability insurance in the amount not less than minimum. I know the renter insurance starting at $100,000. Maybe I would say starting on the next lease, I think I better increase to $300,000. It's only cost probably $10 more a year. It's not that much more, but it's better protection for tenant and the landlord. Minimum, I know it's $100,000. Naming the landlord and, if applicable, property manager as additional insurer for injury or damage to or upon the premises during the terms of this agreement of any extension. Tenant shall provide landlord a copy of the insurance policy before commencement of this agreement and rider prior to any renewal. A lot of Asian tenant doesn't know this. Why should I have to insure? Well, I never heard about that. We'll say, okay, you never heard about it, now you heard it. Are you going to insure now? No. Then sorry, we cannot move it. I won't give you the key. Because when you sign this agreement, that means you are promising for the have an insurance. Because landlord just will not cover your personal belonging, so your car got stolen, and it's your choice. No waiver. You just don't lease it. Get out. Because you know what? If you lease an apartment will force you to have the insurance. You don't buy it, I put the insurance into the rent. I buy it for you. Read it. What's that? What insurance is that? What the bold print? Renters insurance. It's only costs about 120, 30 bucks a year. It's not that more. It's so cheap. Even you buy the $1 million, at the most 200 bucks a year. It's cheap, really cheap. So why don't you buy it? Right? No reason, no brainer. But you know what? Some of the tenants say, "This is the first time I heard it. I never." Okay, fine. Either you want to buy it, or you don't lease it. I'll give you the choice now. Yes. Any insurance company. Huh? Yes. Yes. Either you don't want a lease agreement, if you got an agent, you gotta, because sometimes the tenant's agent, if they're part-timer, they don't understand. I have this. Oh, my client never heard about that. Well, that's why they're showing on the lease agreement. Why we have 8 pages now. Used to be just mention insurance. Now they even have to let us fill in the limit. And I will check, see why. Tenant should obtain the liability insurance, okay? Not only that, it has to be naming the landlord, not just a tenant alone. Landlord has to be part of the beneficiary, not just a tenant alone. Make sure you see the policy, not just tenant's name. I want to see landlord's name on the policy too. If you're not so sure, call their insurance agent, verify this policy. Not just an estimate. Make sure it's a binding agreement. Huh? Yeah. Or the property manager. So that means from landlord, property manager, if you have a property manager, okay, and tenant, all 3. Especially if you have pets. Tenant. The tenants put pets. If the dog bites, who's supposed to cover? Because whoever got bit. Huh? No, you can bind it. Because the policy, they do have, I saw it on the policy, they actually binding, with the pets. And with the pets, I need a minimum $300,000 to $500,000. Because if the dog bit and cause an issue, and if you don't have if the tenant doesn't have enough coverage, and whoever got bit, who they gonna sue? Homeowner, landlord. Is that right? Oh yeah. Or somebody fell out on your sidewalk in front of your house. Who's supposed to pay? Landlord. Or it's a tenant. You gotta go through the tenant's insurance first. Okay. So that's why when the landlord, if they have a homeowner insurance, owner occupied insurance, or renter insurance, you have to notify your insurance agent, because I don't want insurance agency or insurance company they turn you down when you did not report it. Your property has been rented, not owner occupied. Okay? You have to notify your insurance company. Because they say, "Oh, you lied to me, so I don't have to cover." What? Oh, because you didn't tell me it's a rental now. On the policy, you still is showing you are owner occupied, but you never updated with me. So I don't have to pay you. Can they do that? Yeah. Well, everything. If you are if you not just the homeowner insurance, if you had because umbrella insurance is also very cheap too. What, $1 million only costs you $200-300 a year? Yeah. Okay. So, and tenant should provide the landlord a copy of the insurance policy before commencement day, and prior to any renewal. Sometimes the tenant only insure for first year. How about second year? Forget it. I'm not going to renew. Okay. So if the proper way to run the business, I gotta have to remind the landlord. Our job is done when I sign the lease. Yes, I check on the first year, but following year, second year, you as a landlord, you could still have a right to check on the tenant. You gotta have to see the renewal from the tenant. Okay, renewal policy. Not my job anymore. My job is done. And if you really want to go through the credit report again, yes, you do have a right to run the credit report again when you renew. Okay. Later on, we gotta cover that. Okay, 30. I don't think anybody's still using waterbed, portable washers. Tenant should not use and have waterbed on the premises unless tenant obtain a valid waterbed insurance policy. It may flood. Tenant increase the security deposit in the amount of equal to 1/2 of 1 month's rent. So that means if you have waterbed, you're gonna have an increased deposit. 3, the bed comfort of the flooring, low capacity of the premises. Tenant should not use on the premises or portable dishwasher or portable washing machine. Why? Because anything in a portable, did you ever see the portable, what do you mean a portable dishwasher and portable washing machine? Those are, with the portable, that means you can use your hand, and they actually is a small canister. You can use it, spin it, or use a foot, spin a washer, either the, yeah, that's a portable, you know, dishwasher or portable washing machine. Why? Because when you move around, and if it leaks, it may have a water damage. Okay.
So with the water bed?
Water bed, 水床啊. If it leak, yeah. I don't think it's why we don't sleep the water bed anymore. It's not good for your spine anyway. I know it's floating. I know my god sister a long time ago, 30 years ago, she has a water bed. I sit down and say, oh, you cannot really sit down. It's like, what? It's floating. And waiver, the waiver of any breach shall not be constructed as a continue waiving at the same of a subsequent breach. So if you really want to, you know, waiver anything, which I don't recommend, okay, you could issue a waiver, but I don't recommend you waive anything on the lease agreement. Notice may be served at the following address and at the other location subsequently designated. What's that? Why they're showing that? So if they have any dispute, send me a legal letter from the mediator, or whatever it may be, or attorney letter, where they need to serve. Okay? So you gotta have a landlord's address. And so did you see that? A tenant's address is different than the subject property address because tenant, they have their own house in La Fuente. And I lease to their mom, you know, in Hacienda Heights. So that's why if any dispute and which address I need to serve, it's their home address, not the subject property address. $33. Okay, this is also important when you sell the property with the tenant. So tenant estoppel certificate. So tenant should execute and return a tenant estoppel certificate delivered to the tenant by landlord or landlord's agent. If the leasing agent is trying to sell the property with the tenant, within 3 days after receipt, okay, TEC. Failure to comply with this requirement shall be deemed tenant's acknowledged of the tenant estoppel certificate is true and correct and may rely upon by lenders or purchase. So if you want to lease this property, cool. So this, if you sign this lease, that means you as a tenant, you gotta cooperate with the landlord selling the property. He's signing the tenant estoppel. To actually, what the form of tenant estoppel basically is between landlord and tenant. They sign and show the buyer and lender this is a true rent payment, not just, you know, landlord saying say 2,000. Tenant says, no, 1,800. Uh-oh, somebody lying. Okay. Oh no, landlord say, well, as on the market it's 2,000, but actually I only collect 18. That is 1,800. Why you lie to the buyer? Say you have a $2,000 rent. I don't care the market price. All I care is how much what you collect right now. Especially when you do the income property. You need a tenant estoppel each unit. Okay, not just if the condo, that's easy, one. If you got what, 10 units income property, you need 10. Tenant estoppel. And you know some of the tenant, they are pretty bad. I won't sign it unless you pay me. Yeah, landlord, you gotta pay me to sign it. But you want to sell it? You're making money. You pay me to sign it. I will not sign it. And if you don't sign a tenant estoppel, buyer cannot get financing. The escrow fell through. It happened to our co-worker. The escrow fell through 5 times. One of a tenant just insists, doesn't want to sign it, and is demanding from $10,000 to $100,000. There's no way buyer want to pay that. So end up cancel. Very lucky, that's what I heard. And they want to move for some reason. They want to move the senior condo and need the landlord's signature, landlord's consent. And tell them to say they do pay the rent on time. Ha ha! You want me to sign it? You sign a tenant estoppel now. And I'll sign your tenant landlord consent. Ain't got no money exchange after that. So finally, close the escrow for the next buyer. And that's happened in Chinatown. And that's with the rent control area. So it's hard. And what usually what the tenant, what they did is the yeah. So basically, you know, the what you're looking at is the for the tenant, you know, the if they're not cooperating, it's going to be a headache. Even I know if you sign it and suppose cooperating, but some of the tenant they just don't cooperate. And especially at that case, when I mentioned to you in the Chinatown, the investor why they buy a rent control area is because if they plan to knock out that 8 units or 10 units apartment and build 20 units apartment brand new. So because the rent control only apply the building built before 1978. So if you're in the rent control area, that's only on the LA, okay? So I don't know any other city, but what I'm telling you is this one is only happened in Los Angeles. Okay? If they say like Santa Ana or any other area have rent control, they may have a different rule. Okay, so yeah, I know this is an advertisement. So that is the when they build it, the brand new units or apartment in the even on the rent control area, that since it's brand new, it's going to be online. That's why the investor is still interested to buy those around down apartment because that land costs a lot of money, not that building. Building is worthless. Yeah.
所以 income property 如果用现金买的话，tenant 就不需要签字，就非常容易 close escrow。
I still want the tenant sign it.
还是
Well, when I submit the offer, I will still make sure tenant because that's it's a money. You don't collect the rent, you don't know until next month. Wait a minute. Or if you didn't want tenant sign it, tenant estoppel, fine. but I will let tenant signing the new lease agreement before close of escrow. Okay, then you don't have to sign the tenant estoppel. I don't care anymore. But since I'm going to increase the rent anyway to the market rent, whether you like it or not, if you don't, then you get ready to move out, or we delay the close escrow. And who's saying you tell seller, you deal with it. Because I did that before. Either 60-day escrow or 15-day escrow, you choose. 60-day escrow, you kick the tenant out. 15-day escrow, I close it and you sign a lease agreement. So tenant agree to sign a new lease. Okay. If they still have a rent for the lease agreement with the date, fine. I'll just go ahead to the date. But I increase the rent before I close the escrow. So starting on whatever the date, because after close of escrow, usually you give it a 30-day notice or 60-day notice. You're not happy with it? Well, either you sign it now. You accepted the new rent. Otherwise, landlord, okay, or the seller, you give it the tenants a notice, get out. I re-rent it to the new tenant for the current market price.
是不是如果没有到期，就还是能就没有到期？比如说刚租进来。
哦，租进来的话 if not month to month, then you cannot increase the rent. You cannot, yeah, you cannot increase the rent. Okay, but what you can do is I let you sign. I give you the notice now. If the lease is over that 3 days or 102 days, I give you the notice already. 100 when the lease is up, I'm going to increase the rent. You sign it. You're not happy with it? You know where to go. Get ready to move out. I already give you the notice. Yeah. So that usually is my way to protect my buyer. So, right. The representation of the tenant representation obligation regarding the occupant credit. So tenant warrant that the all statement in tenant rental application are accurate. Landlord require all occupant 18 years old age and older have all incipient minor to complete a lease rental application. So anybody is 18 years old, you gotta have to complete the lease agreement. Tenant acknowledge this requirement, agree to notify landlord when any occupant of the premises reach the age of 18 and become emancipate minor. Tenant authorize the landlord and broker to obtain tenant's credit report periodically during the tenancy in connection with the modification of enforcement of this agreement. Landlord may cancel this agreement before occupancy begin upon disapprove of a credit report, because sometimes you may have a fake credit report and landlord requested run the credit report by listing agent. Sometimes they don't believe by the tenant. Yeah. So that's the if you run it and the credit report different than the tenant want to provide, what's the alert? Okay, they may fake the credit report. Upon discovering the information in tenant application is false, because you can call their sometimes application they filled out their friends, relatives, or their employment, or their previous landlord. You call previous landlord. Okay, how's their history? But did you really believe that? Well, that's why sometimes I could call. Usually they have two areas, right? Current landlord and the previous landlord. You can call both. Sometimes it's that. But if the current landlord, usually it's put it this way, the previous landlord will tell you the truth. The current landlord may not tell the truth because if they're ready to kick out this tenant, they will not badmouth this tenant at all. Oh yeah, they pay on time even every time they late. Because that's even when I sell the property, the seller told me they're always late, but they're willing to pay the late charge every time. Do I tell buyer's agent or buyer that? No way, because they're gonna buy it with the tenant. It's not my job to volunteer to ask them. They can run their credit report again, right? Yeah. But hey, that's why the risk when you purchase with the tenant, you are legally actually you can run their report again before close plans wrong. But if you did not do that, well, some of the agent doesn't have experience buying with the tenant. It's your choice. Yeah. Listing agent's not obligated. I'm not going to cooperating. I'll tell you everything. Right? So the tenant authorizes a landlord and broker to obtain the tenant's credit report periodically during the tenancy in connection with the modification and enforcement of this agreement. Landlord may cancel this agreement before occupancy begin and disapprove. Okay, I'm sorry. Let me repeat it. After commencement, number 2, after commencement day, upon disapproval of updated credit report, upon discovering that information is false, if the tenant application is no longer true, a negative credit report reflecting on tenant's record may be submitted to the credit report agency if the tenant failed to fulfill the term of payment and other obligations under this agreement. What's that telling you? Landlord has a right to turn in a tenant, call the credit bureau. Tenant failed to fulfill the term of payment and other obligations under this agreement. So that's why when the tenant is signing this, you give it the authorization for the landlord to report to the credit bureau if you don't pay your payment on time. Okay. So that's if that is a part, if he give it you gotta have to mention to the tenant. So make sure you pay the payment on time. Otherwise, if you late for 1 month, then usually just like credit card, if you late 30 days, they will ding you on 30 days late on a credit report. Yeah. B, landlord representation. Landlord warrant that unless otherwise specified in writing, landlord is aware, 1, any record of notice of default affecting the premises, 2, any delinquent amount due under any loan secured by the premises, and 3, any bankruptcy processing proceeding affecting the premises. So landlord's representation, that means it's us. If landlord doesn't tell us and you don't check the title, so that's why before we took the listing or before we sign a lease, check the title. Anything different? Notice of default, it will show the record. Bankruptcy will show on the record. Then you better, when the financial crisis, the tenant, the first thing will ask the listing agent or the landlord, is this house in notice of default? Yeah, they ask us that. Yeah. Yeah, so that's true. Yeah. 35, mediation. So here's the, if any dispute happen. So consists with the paragraph B and C below. Landlord and tenant agree to mediate any dispute or claim arising between them out of the agreement or any resulting transaction before resorting and court action. Mediation fee, if any, shall be divided equal among the parties involved if for any dispute or claim to which this paragraph apply, any party commencement an action without first attempting to resolve the matter through mediation or refuse to mediate after the request has been made, then that party should not be entitled to recover attorney fee, even if they would otherwise be available, that party in any such action. I mean, if you don't go through the mediation, you only get paid for settlement. You don't get paid for your attorney fee. So the losing party is not obligated to pay the winning party attorney fee if you don't go through mediation process. B, the following matter are excluded a mediation. 1, the unlawful detainer action. 2, the filing, the enforcement of the mechanics lien. And 3, any matter within the jurisdiction of a probate, small claim, and bankruptcy court, the filing of court action to enable the recording the notice of a pending action for order attachment, receivership, injunction, or other provisional remedies shall not constitute a waiver of this mediation provision. So if anything has a court order or anything like that, then definitely it's not going to be mediated. Mediation only between landlord and a tenant issue. Anything involve a legal issue, court issue? No. C, landlord and tenant agree to mediate dispute a claim involving listing agent, leasing agent, or property manager. Provide broker should have agreed to such mediation prior to or within a reasonable time after the dispute or claim is presented to such broker. Any election by the broker to participate in mediation should not result in broker being deemed to a party to this agreement. Okay. So that means you do the listing agent, okay? Then definitely, if the involving listing agent, lease agent, that's, for tenant's agent or any property manager, providing broker should have agreed to such mediation prior. So that means you gotta have to give, if you want to get involved with the listing agent, tenant's agent, or the property manager, you gotta at least a month or before that. 36, attorney fee. In any action or proceeding arising out of agreement, the prevailing party between landlord and tenant shall be entitled to reasonable attorney fee and cost, collectively not to exceed $1,000, except as provided in paragraph 35A. So 37, CAR form and CAR form and submit the specified form reference to another comparable form agreed to by the parties. 38, statutory disclosure. So those are starting with all the disclosure statement. A, lead-based paint. If they were constructed prior to 1978 in accordance with the federal law, landlord give the tenant acknowledged recipient of a disclosure of attached FLD and federal approved lead tent. This property is not built in 1978. Why should I mark there? Well, it's already signed the lease anyway. I didn't really let them sign the lead-based paint agreement anyway. But it's built in 1979. I say, yeah, why did I mark there? Anyway. 没有了，这个来讲的话 it's already signed, and I didn't really let them sign it, but I mark it right here. But for some reason, I don't know. Yeah, this one's built in 1979, so it shouldn't be there. B, periodic pest control. Check if either apply. Landlord has entered into the contract of periodic pest control term treatment to the premises and shall give the tenant copy and notice of original given to the landlord by the pest control company. So some of the landlord, they may pay for the pest control company annually. So they could, like once a year or once a semi-annually, they will come out to check because they already pay the fee for my company. So that is the time you notify the tenant. And also premises is a house, tenant is responsible for periodic pest control treatment. They said pest control treatment. That means if house, it's a house. They didn't say termite. Termite is who's responsible? Landlord. But pest is like what? Ants. So that's why when tenants, oh, we got a lot of ants. Is it landlord issue? And spider? Pest control. How about rodent? 老鼠。Catch 22. Because rodent is not really considered pest control. You could, it's not insect. I mean, those are you ask landlord. Sometimes, So basically, on C, okay, methamphetamine contamination, if you do have it, prior to signing this agreement, landlord has given tenant a notice that a health official has issued an order prohibition occupancy of the property because of the methamphetamine contamination. A copy of the notice of order are attached. Okay. D, bed bugs. Landlord has no knowledge of any infestation in the premises by bed bugs. See attached bed bugs disclosure. For further information, tenant shall report suspected bed bugs infestation and landlord, or if applicable, property manager cooperating with any inspection for or treatment of the bed bugs. Landlord will notify tenant of any unit infested by bed bugs. So bed bugs is landlord's issue. Okay. Bed bug is a landlord's issue. E, Megan's Law database disclosure. Notice and pursuing the section 290.46 of the Penal Code. Information about a specified Region 6 offender is made available to public via the internet website, maintained by the Department of Justice by www.meganslaw.ca.gov, depending on offender criminal history. This information will include either the address at which the offender resided or the community of residence and zip code in which he or she resides. Neither landlord or no broker, if any, are required to check this website. It's not our job. Tenant, you check it yourself. If tenant wants further information, tenant should obtain information directly from this website. Because sometimes we don't want to get involved. Too much hassle. F, the residential environment hazard booklet. If you want to give it to them, just like the natural hazard disclosure, not the booklet, not earthquake, or lead-based tank safety, earthquake, safety. Those booklets, if you want to give it to them, that's fine. You mark it over there. So tenant acknowledge receive a residential environmental hazard booklet. If you really, the house is located in a particular area, you want to let them know, fine. G, military ordinance disclosure. If anything, if the notice landlord premises are located within 1 mile of an area with use of military training and many contain potential explosive munition. So if it was a base, even back to World War II, for example, like Irvine, you see the Jamboree when you're passing by, see the two huge construction dome area, that was an airship parking, before. It's considered, it's a base, okay? But if you lease a property over there, I would disclose it. It's a military ordinance. Yeah. H, flood hazard disclosure. Flooding has a potential to cause significant damage to personal property owned by the tenant. See attached tenant flood hazard disclosure for additional information. If you do you're in the flood zone area. Time of essence. Entire contract and changes. Time is essence. All understanding between the party are incorporated in this agreement. Its terms are intended by the party as a final comply with exclusive expression of their agreement with respect to its subject matter and may not be contradicted by evidence of any prior of agreement, contemporaneous oral agreement. If any provision of this agreement is held to be ineffective and invalid, and remaining provision will nevertheless be given full force effect. Neither this agreement nor any provision in it may be extended, amended, modified, alter, or change except in writing. This agreement is subject to the California landlord-tenant law and shall incorporate it with all changes required by amendment and successor in such by law or such law. This agreement and any supplement, addendum, modification, including any copy, may be signed in two or more counterparty, all of which shall constitute one and the same writing. So if you want to, you don't modify this agreement, okay, at the residential, you don't write or cross it out anything here and initial. No. You issue addendum to eliminate any paragraph or anything or adding anything. You gotta have to issue addendum. So let tenant or all parties sign. Sometimes maybe including agency. So that's why, you know, the issue then not just cross it out or change it, any paragraph. You just cannot modify this agreement. $40, pretty straightforward, agency, okay, both of them. And if over 1 year, we need an agency disclosure, AD, okay? So you say if exceeding 1 year, well, it doesn't matter exceeding 1 year or not, I still let them sign agency disclosure anyway. But legally, it's exceeding 1 year, you need to, at minimum, we lease the property for a year. That means month to month doesn't need agency disclosure. I don't do it anyway. I don't collect the commission month to month. I collect everything at once, minimum 1 year. Okay. 41, tenant compensation to broker. Upon execution of this agreement, tenant agreed to pay compensation to broker as specified in a separate written agreement between tenant and broker. So can tenant pay the broker? Yes. It's not every time landlord pay the broker. Did you know lately, did you see the news? NAR? Some of the seller, they actually, I cannot say dispute, but actually they filing, not exactly lawsuit, but it's they're complaining, you know, why the seller have to pay both party commission. They might say, why buyer not paying the commission to their own agent? Why seller pay? Huh? Hey, but I mean, somebody start challenging that NAR. So who knows? Down in the future, we may have to collect. If you're representing buyer, you may collecting commission on buyer. I don't know when, but that's a residential. Commercial, I see that. If buyer is that, fine. I don't pay you. I'll go directly to the listing agent. No, listing agent doesn't have to. See, listing, the seller only pay listing agent, and buyer only representing by themselves. So
no agent.
So no agent, and we end up cannot running as a double. Yeah, so that may be, you know, if that's an issue, then we can even run as a dual agent. if the seller choose not to pay, well, actually, it's a choice. The seller doesn't have to pay. Okay, seller can only pay listing agent. But if the listing agent, if that's an issue, how can we put on the MLS? Because they're complaining, why the MLS showing the commission? So that's why some of the agent, if they did that, they showing them $1 or $100 on MLS. Why? Because listing agent, the seller is not going to pay the buyer's agent technically. Period. You know that. If that's an issue, if the buyer want to see the house, you tell buyer, say, if you want to see this house, either you pay me to protect you as attorney, okay? You pay, or you're representing yourself. You want me to show you the property? What do I do? If I want to protect myself, what do I do? Well, you're gonna have to sign something before I show you. Sign what form?
What kind of form?
Buyer's agreement. Buyer's agreement. You listed that particular address. Because you got no MLS to protect you anymore if they put $1. You know, did you want to get $1 or $100? No, I want to get at least 2% or 2.5% or even more. So if you're not happy with it, then go contact your listing agent yourself. Then you're not qualified to be my buyer. See you later. I probably won't see you later. Bye-bye. Yeah. You're out. Yeah. You're not worth it. You're so cheap. Or it used to be, what I did it before I badmouthed so bad at that listing anyway. So the end up I didn't see it. So that may happen in the future. Who knows? Our job, our career is going to be tougher. Notice of the right to receive the foreign language translation of a lease and rental agreement. California Civil Code requires a landlord and property manager and provide a tenant with the foreign language translation copy of a lease or rental agreement if the agreement was negotiated primarily in Spanish, Chinese, Korean, Tagalog, Vietnamese. If applicable, every terms, words, and no any term and of the lease and rental need to be translated except of, among others, name, dollar amount, and dates written as numeral and words of no generator except non-English translation. Landlord is supposed to provide a translation. That has cost a lot because we don't have any translation version. Okay, so if you cannot really ask a tenant for translation, because I know a purchase agreement didn't have this. Okay, but I'm tenant. Too bad. Yeah. Used to be years back, when I practiced real estate, we do have a foreign language translation with our agreement. And that's actually issued by board, but not anymore. Because every time they revise the agreement, they have to update it every half year, costs too much. So, landlord, if you really want to lease to someone else, any with the foreigner, so suppose, as the, and that's a California Civil Code, require a landlord. So that means if the tenant says, I want to translate a lease agreement so I can understand what I'm signing for. Landlord. Landlord have to buy a translation. I think probably, I don't know where they purchased, so I've never had that before. But be careful, just like you do with Section 8. Because that's all of the California Civil Code. Okay? How you carefully turn down those tenants. Okay? You have to be careful of that. If the landlord is so cheap. I want to pay for it. Yeah. You tell the listing agent pay for it? No, well, why don't I just, you lease the, why? Because then why don't you, buy the one page lease agreement through Home Depot or Staple and you lease by yourself. I fire myself. Can I? Yeah. I don't want to get involved. You tell me to pay for the translation cost? No way. On the whatever I don't know is that how much it's going to cost though, and where you can buy. But I mean that's a civil code. So if you want to sign this lease agreement, then let them know you provide. They didn't say listing agent provide. 43, owner compensation to broker. Upon executing this agreement, owner agreed to pay compensation to broker as specified in specified reading agreement between the owners and broker. So that's a LL, lease listing, okay, or LCA. 44, receipt. If it's specified in paragraph 5, landlord and broker acknowledge receipt of a moving fund. So usually we might just initial on a paragraph 5 and say already received the fund, or you make the copy of a check and sign it, with your signature and say I received those money. And get the copy to tenant or tenant's agent. 45. If the check is the following attached document are incorporated in this agreement, key safe and lockbox addendum. So I give them the KLA, to sign it. And usually it's like before they move out, and I would say allow me to install the lockbox. Okay. Usually I let the tenant sign everything. And certainly before they move out, and I ask them again. If they're not agreed, well, certainly I would not install the lockbox and piss them off. 2, if the lead-based paint and lead-based paint hazard disclosure, if you have it, anything prior to 1978 property. The other one, lease and rental, mold and ventilation addendum. This one is very important. It's because you make sure when you deliver the property to the tenant and tenant sign for this, because you deliver to me is clear with mold. So if later on has a mold, then it's not landlord's issue, because tenant can sue landlord because of mold issue to $1 million. Any health issue, anything, okay? Because it has a court action for that when tenant sue landlord for over $1 million damage. And that's happened in Newport Beach. Wealthy area. Do you think those tenants? Oh yeah, that's sue landlord. And landlord default addendum, if the landlord has any default, notice default, anything like that. Bed bugs disclosure, we come with that automatically. And tenant flood hazard disclosure, if you have it, attached to it. Okay. But this one, I don't know why it marks though. This is default. Is this default? Yeah. Okay. Oh, that's right. That's right. It's default now, because on the whole thing. That's right. Yeah, at the last page. Yeah, they keep on adding more pages. The half year ago, only the bed bugs. Now until December, they're adding this. Yeah. The tenant flood hazard disclosure. Actually, that is actually protecting us as agent. Let me just go ahead. Let's see how many pages do I got. All right, we'll stop right here though, since I cannot really, because this one you have to go through finish. Okay, we'll come back at paragraph